had access to just even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So for building a website, there are some incredible things you can do with WordPress and other open source software that gives you the opportunity to look really good for a very low investment.
Entrepreneurs are younger. I mean, back in my earlier days, people who owned businesses were always old, white, gray-haired guys. I mean, that was that was my model.
And when they retired, they became consultants.
Yes, exactly. I didn't see many women who had their own businesses. They were really an anomaly. But entrepreneurs are younger because of all these other great things that are available to them.
I also think education's playing a part. There are actually so many women now in MBA programs. You can get a degree in entrepreneurship now. There's all sorts of educational opportunities out there.
There's more women graduating as MBAs than men now.
So you guys are going to take on the
unprecedented. That's amazing. Social networking are strong tools to build a brand and scale. So those are opportunities, again, to really help do something totally different in a different way. I work a lot with the Peninsula Symphony, and we have sort of an aging population, a target that we were typically sending out information to. So this year we decided to really shake things up because we felt that is not sustainable. I mean, obviously, if you have everybody 80 and above coming to your programs, you're going to start really dwindling in numbers. So you need to think bigger and different. And so what we did was actually develop some Groupon advertising for the Peninsula Symphony, which has been wildly successful. And we were able to get over 700 people who had never come to the Peninsula Symphony before to come and listen to our concerts and find out about us. And from that, we had numbers that prove that people who come to the symphony are much more likely to become subscribers. So that is a huge phenomenon. It's completely wonderful where we can see where people are, the demographics of these people buying. So it's a great age group for us because it's people in their 30s and 40s, which is a great target, and that's where we wanted to go. So that's, again, something that's very new that we would have not seen years ago. We were able to reach out to that audience. Employers like the entrepreneurial skill set.
So I like to say, what's the worst thing that can happen? You can have people out get a job. So if you do have the entrepreneurial experience, you're going to come out with more skills. So you're going to be a better risk taker.
Except you're a little bossy, that's the only thing.
Or unemployable, as in my case.
Yeah.
But you really do, you will gain a lot of skills by being an entrepreneur, which are actually very attractive to companies because they want people who can take a little risk.
Yes, and get the job done, which is the thing as an entrepreneur that you learn how to do pretty quick. Women are seeking flexibility, and therefore you're seeing an increase in home-based businesses. So this is a huge thing, and this is why one of the key reasons why you see so many women opening their businesses. I think it has to do a lot with rearing children. It has to do with our parents living longer. So I'm like a poster child for the sandwich generation. I have older parents that are aging, that have been ill, that I'm taking care of, as well as a 12 and a 15-year-old. One of the reasons I started my business was because I needed the flexibility because I was traveling so much. That isn't a good model for being a mom. At least it wasn't for me. And so, something had to give, and I decided that I would change that up.
So definitely a little bit more in charge of your own destiny when you're
slightly, yes.
And as we can see from, not all companies give women as much flexibility as they need, particularly in the child rearing years. So as I said, it's a great option. Likewise, I started my business as a home-based business. My daughter was very young. And later on, I got an office. Again, it's about a mile away from our house. It's about 2 miles from her school, so it's a great situation. It's an important part of it.
And then,
I'm sorry, did I miss one for you?
There's one more. There's more small business skills training opportunities. So there's more places where you can go to get the skills to build businesses. As we've mentioned in the organizations that we belong to, classes, things, the entrepreneurial, a slant on an MBA, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those things, those are new kinds of things. They didn't really exist before, or they weren't as easy to find as they are now. So those are things that can really help so much in your success, and making sure that when you start something, you can make a real go with it.
And what opportunities are available for women in business, women businesses? So the industries with the highest concentration, you can see here, healthcare is a huge area, social assistance, educational, professional services. Those are all areas where there are a lot of women-owned businesses, quite a high percentage. The industries with the lowest concentration, no big surprise, but construction, finance, insurance, those are all areas with a much smaller percentage. Women-owned firms, though, very interesting. American Express just published a report about a month ago that showed for the first time that we always used to hear about the non-traditional industries where women were very poorly represented, and there really are very few industries left like that. So what we're seeing is women have companies all across the board, all sorts of different industries. Now there may be fewer of them in the high-tech or engineering fields, but women are making inroads in every single industry. That's a very positive sign. And Deb, you were going to talk about the fast-growing markets.
Yes. So these are some fast growing, some areas of growth for small businesses according to February issue of The Street. And I thought this was very interesting. Areas of a lot of growth in video games, environmental consulting. So that might be a little bit slowed down because of the economy, but it's hard to imagine a large company these days not having some sort of an environmental approach, push, what have you. I mean, I think this is a growing trend that you could probably bank on. I mean, of course, we're in the state-of-the-art area here, but I definitely feel like that's an important area that's of growth. E-commerce, online auctions, so y'all can definitely relate to that. E-commerce, I think last year, e-commerce sales actually exceeded catalog sales for the first time ever. E-commerce grows no matter what. People become more and more accustomed to buying online. Everything you could possibly think of. I bought my bathtub. I have a extra long clawfoot bathtub that I bought online because I couldn't find one to fit my body when we remodeled my house, and it came and it was fabulous. And so that's the kind of thing I think that was, as more and more people become comfortable. You all are really young, and so to you it's no big deal at all. But this is, it's a phenomenal thing to see the growth in it every year, steady, no matter what. Biotechnology, of course, huge area. We're going to see a lot more in there. The thoughts definitely support that. Retirement and pension. So what do we have going on? The aging baby boomers, right? Huge population. I'm on the tail end of it. But what do we care about? We care about our retirement and our pension. Anything to do with aging baby boomers in terms of, housing, senior health care, senior lifestyle. These are all areas that are going to really grow. They are growing, and they're going to continue to be that way because of this huge population that we have that's entering this area. And they're looking for different things than past retirees have looked for. They're interested in living to 100. So there's a lot more activity and a lot more stuff going on with them that you can bank on. And voice over internet protocol providers. So that is also a huge area of growth when you look at the statistics. That's very, very interesting. So that's going to be really mushrooming here in the next few years. So those are areas to think about when you're thinking about your business models. Okay.
And we did promise a few points on pitfalls, what to watch out for. What have we learned? Lessons learned over the years. What are we seeing with businesses? So what are the things to watch out for? Poor leadership or lack of direction would probably be the number one. Lack of a good, solid business plan. Sometimes you see business owners who are a little scattered, not very focused. And so I really think that can be an issue. So a business plan really allows other people to evaluate your business as well, whether it's the potential investor, angel investor, or friends and family, putting it down on paper, putting down your vision, how you're going to accomplish it, what's your execution plan, write it down, your strategies for success, really committing it to paper and reviewing it. It really is just a blueprint of the business plan. It's a very important part. It's nothing set in stone. You're going to have to adapt it. But just going through the discipline of reviewing that every quarter, I think, is a really good thing to do. So having a clear direction, strong leadership, really in the end, when you have an issue as a business owner, it's a very good idea to ask for a lot of opinions. I have sort of an informal advisory board, people who I respect a great deal, who I will say, I've got this problem, what do you recommend I should do? But ultimately, you are the one that has to make the decision. So having a strong sense of conviction, having the confidence to follow your instincts, which usually are probably the best way to go. The biggest mistakes I've ever made in business is when I've gone against my instinct. So I think having that confidence that take advice from everyone, but ultimately you have to make a decision.
And also, you really need to think a little bit past your passion. You really need passion in your own business because it will be really hard. And you need to have passion to get through it because there will be many struggles. And so your passion is the thing that's going to carry you through and make sure that you'll be okay. But it's also really, what I have found over the years is that typically when people start a business, they have a really great idea and they're good maybe with a few of those things, a few of the things that you need to do well and be successful. But they don't have the whole picture. And that's why it's really important to have this plan and think through it carefully because it makes you very myopic. You kind of think that everyone will be as excited about your idea as you are. And it's not true.
Lack of access to funding and resources. This is still pretty challenging. In fact, with the economy in the shape it's in, it's been especially challenging the last few years, getting access to funding. As we mentioned, women tend to get stuck in that, by not thinking big enough. There are some organizations out there, though. There are some great programs. There's one called Make Mine a Million, run by Nell Merlino, who's spoken for us a couple of times. She has a wonderful organization. She helps companies that are high growth potential really position themselves and find the right investors. There are a number of great resources out there actually for women-owned businesses. In the high-tech, high-growth sector, there's an organization called ASTIA, ASTIA.org, that helps really helps prepare women entrepreneurs to go get the funding to really build that business. Lack of financial foresight and planning. Well, Deb and I share one thing in common. We both hate accounting and bookkeeping. We were learning that about each other. But you have to realize, yes, there are going to be pieces of your business you don't enjoy. You just have to make very sure that you have someone extremely who does enjoy it and who's very good at it doing that. You can't overlook financial planning. I actually love doing budgets and the creative side of it because I'm creating a new program. Day-to-day stuff I'm not so fond of, but I have a really good accountant.
And this is one of the things too where you can look for great partnerships. When I first started my business, I had a dear friend who was a CPA and she was looking for a logo and a brand for her company, and so we actually exchanged services, and I would give her like a large box of like horrible receipts and junk, and she would come back and it would be all like perfect in these P&L statements. It was like, oh my God, thank God, thank God. And she just loved all the stuff I did for her. So that's a great way sometimes to look for a cheaper route, but bartering is perfectly acceptable.
Bartering's good.
It's awesome.